11, and we have an interview to do, so let's get to it. Hey, what's up, Mark? How you doing?
Pretty good.
Well, this is Mark Sawickas from Impetigo, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
We have a nice interview with him going on here, so.
Cool.
All right, Mark, why don't you give us like a brief history of Impetigo?
Okay, the band was formed by myself and Steve-O back in 1987. After that, we added Dan on drums, and we did our live demo, All We Need Is Cheese. And then did a couple shows, stuff like that for a few years, and then we added Scotty as a second guitarist and did our Giallo studio demo, and that ended up getting us signed to F.OA.D Records, and then from there we did the debut album, Ultima Cadaveri, and then after that, we moved on and did a Blue Omega 7-inch on Whisper in Darkness Records out of Germany. Then after that was the split 7-inch with Blood from Germany on their own label. Then it was back to Wild Rags for the Faceless EP. And then most recently, the Horror of the Zombies album. That brings us up to date with pretty much the history of the band.
Uh-huh. And how well has the Horror of the Zombies LP been selling?
I think it's at around maybe 3,000 now, which isn't too bad considering we do not have any distribution in the United States or Europe. It's all being done, independently by us or while I was dealing directly with some stores and stuff. So really, distribution is very limited on it. But we're satisfied with what it's sold so far, and mainly we're not that concerned with numbers. Is the response that we're getting on it is much better than previous releases that we've had. Everybody seems to dig it and stuff.
That's cool. What's the meaning behind the name of Impetigo? And do you say it Impetigo anyway, or is it Impetigo?
I say it Impetigo.
Impetigo.
But everybody says Impetigo, Impetigo. Everybody says it differently. It seems like so. And we don't really care how people want to say it. I don't know exactly what is the true pronunciation, but I've always heard Impetigo. And the meaning, it's just we got out of a medical disease book. It's just a skin disease. Causes like your skin to like rot and stuff. It spreads really fast.
I actually looked it up in the dictionary. It said Impetigo was the pronunciation.
Well, that might be the correct one. I can really, I guess, ask a doctor sometime or something what the exact pronunciation is. But
I'll just ask Carcass.
But
this month's Milwaukee Metal Fest will be the last show you play. Why is that?
Yeah, it's the farewell live show because. Right now, with all this, all of our jobs, and some of us are married and stuff, it's getting extremely difficult for us to get enough practice time in. So if we're going to do live shows, we have to continuously do the live set over and over, and it's really cutting into our time as far as writing new material. So in order to make things a little easier on us, we've decided that we've become a studio-only band. That way we can concentrate all of our time on writing new material, recording LPs and EPs and stuff like that. We don't have to keep being ready for a live show. We don't really play that many shows as it is anyway, so we just figured to make things easier on ourselves, and that way we can concentrate a lot more on our material, our releases, and all that stuff. So we decided not really to do live shows anymore.
And you all have full-time jobs? What jobs do you have?
I'm an accountant at a place we make cars. Scott is a systems analyst at a hospital. Steve-O, he works at a screen printing factory, and Dan works in a lumber yard. So we've all had these jobs for a while now. I'm going to do the band as it's more than a hobby because we're just into the music and we're into the underground period, and we always have been. So the band's like something we want to continue doing, but we might just have to make a few adjustments here and there so it stays that it's still fun to us, that we're still having a good time at it.
Yeah. I saw you guys play live at the Rhode Island Death Fest at the Club Babyhead.
Yeah.
What exactly was Steve-O spewing out near the end of the show?
That was, first was like a mixture of like fake blood and then rubber, like fishing worms and shit. He usually would spit that out during Red Wigglers, but at the end of the show, he was like really actually puking. It was like real puke. I don't know, that he just felt sick or something. But very in the show, he just started like really puking guts out.
And did he puke on people? And did they?
Yeah. puked on people. He got puke all over in his impaled Nazarene shirt, and he like took it off and like threw it down. It was full of puke, and like somebody stole it. And I stole his shirt like full of puke, and
I guess they didn't know it was
he
real.
puked there. He has like actually puked at the last 3 shows after that, because he can make himself kind of puke on impulse. When he's like excited and stuff, like you're playing a live show and he's excited, he can actually puke whenever he wants. So he has, like when we played in Puerto Rico, he like started puking, and this guy just sat right under him, and all the puke just fell on this guy and stuff. He thought it was fucking great, though.
You have a pretty original sound. Do you ever get compared to like any other bands?
Usually Carcass is the biggest comparison. Maybe in the earlier days, our sound might have been a little bit more similar to them, but there was their new technical sound. I think their sound is quite a bit different than ours now, but that's been a big comparison, although I don't really think we totally sound like Carcass.
Yeah.
Maybe using the pitch controller vocals every now and then and stuff.
What do you like to do in your spare time?
Collect gore movies, horror movies. I'm a big horror gore movie fanatic. I have a huge collection of videotapes, laserdiscs, watch a lot of films, and then also I just collector of like underground music CDs, LPs. I put a lot of time and money into that kind of stuff.
Well, what are your favorite gore movies?
My favorite one is probably The Beyond by Lucio Fulci. That's probably my all-time favorite. Some other good ones are like The Necromantics, or out of the Asian stuff like Stone Age Warriors, or the Guinea Pig series is pretty good. The first 2 of those are good, and I like the classics like Zombie or Dr. Butcher MD or House by the Cemetery, Suspiria, Phenomena. There's just an endless amount of film out there. Trying to collect all this stuff is pretty crazy because you just keep finding more and more good stuff.
Yeah. I used to do a zine called Uniforce.
Yep.
Do you ever think you'll start that again?
Probably not. I've thought about it a couple times, but I don't know if I'll ever get back to doing that or not, or if I would maybe try to start some other project. But while the band's going, there's no way I can do any other projects, just because between work and then answering all the mail, which takes like hours every single night, is like that pretty much takes up all my time at the moment.
What do you think about the advisory stickers that are being put on the albums?
Oh, like the parental guidance stickers and stuff?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Those annoying little stickers.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, as long as I'd rather have something stickered as opposed to having it like actually censored or changed or something.
Like your first album cover.
Yeah, like they wouldn't print those and stuff. I never even got the print. But I guess if they're going to sticker something, it's not as bad as if they would actually go in and make them like eliminate some lyrics or take something out of the cover, etc. Kind of a pain, but I mean, a lot of things that should be stickered don't really get stickered anyway, so I think it's kind of working against the people who want things stickered. When people see those things and they want to buy those more, especially people who don't know what they're buying. They're like, oh, this is stickered, we got to buy it, it's got something offensive in it, so I think it actually works against the people who wanted it in the first place.
That's cool. There's a lot of rumors going around about Wild Rags Records being like a ripoff and everything.
Yeah, I'm well aware of those rumors. I hear that stuff all the time.
But what's your opinion on all this stuff?
Well, all I can speak about personally is from our angle is, I've been dealing personally with Wild Rags since like issue 3 of Uniforce, so it's probably been 7 or 8 years now, and I've never had a problem with them. I know some other bands have had problems with them, but I don't know the whole story on all those other problems. I mean, maybe it's the way we do business. We're not, we're maybe more interested in getting our product as opposed to getting money or something like that. I don't know if it's the way we do business or if we've been lucky or what you want to say, but we've not had any problems with them, so we're still going to stick with them. We're pretty satisfied with them.
What's the album that first got you into like this extreme form of music?
Probably the time when I received Venom, Welcome to Hell, and maybe Hellhammer, Apocalyptic Raids, and like the first Slayer album. I guess those 3 were probably the first things that really got me into extreme stuff. I mean, Motorhead was what I was listening to kind of before, and then it kind of carried over into like Venom, Hellhammer, stuff like that, the early stuff.
In your opinion, what's the best show that you ever played, like your favorite?
Best show that we ever played, I would say that might have been, as far as how we played musically and the crowd all told, I guess that would be at Rhode Island Death Fest is one of our favorites. We got to play the full set. We played almost all our material. The people that did stick around, which is a pretty good percentage of the crowd, were into it and stuff. So we had a good time at that show. Puerto Rico was pretty amazing just because the fans down there were totally nuts and stuff. But the equipment was really bad down there, and I would say our show was less than great musically and stuff. But down there, I mean, the fans were so much different than here. They just go nuts and they treat you totally different. It's really weird.
Okay.
Those are probably our favorite two shows. So.
Yeah. All right, if you had like 2 weeks to live, how would you spend those 2 weeks?
Man, 2 weeks to live, I guess I would, first thing I would do is go to Japan and buy up as many laser discs as I can, because that's where all the good horror laser discs are. I'm a fanatic about that stuff. And then I guess just trying to see all the bands that I like live. You know, try to just fly anywhere. You got to see the bands that you want to see live that you've never seen anywhere or something like that. Probably be how I'd be spending 2 weeks.
Cool. What's next in the future of Impetigo or Impetigo?
Well, right now we're kind of having some trouble because we're trying to find a place to practice. We lost our last place, and now we're having difficulty finding a new one. But
Really?
As soon as we get that, we're going to be... We got some new material already, but we need to write a little bit more, and then we're going in the studio to record probably like an EP's worth of material, and it's either going to come out as a separate EP or possibly a 3-band compilation CD with Blood Duster from Australia and the Meat Shits. But they've already recorded their material, so I don't know, depending on timing, if we're going to make it on there or if that's going to come out separately or what. But we'll be doing some more recording, and then after that we'll be writing a bunch of material and doing the third album, I guess, sometime in 1994.
All right, thank you, Mark, for doing the interview, and
thank you for having us on the show.
Any famous last words before we get off?
Not really, just thanks to everybody out there who's been supporting us. You know, if you're having difficulty finding any of our releases or whatever, you can always write to us, because we always sell everything of ours as long as it's available, you know. So if you have trouble finding something because we don't have distribution, you can always write to us, and we can set you up with us, no problem.
Yeah, what's your address, by the way, so people can...
Okay, my address is Lakeview Apartments, number 7B, and it's in Morton, Illinois. The zip code is 61550.
So they don't have to put the street down?
It's not always necessary. It'll still get to me without the street there, so...
That's cool.
People are listening. It might be a little bit less for them to write down if they're trying to write down an address.
Okay.
At first they told us we had to have the street, but then I get mail without it, so it doesn't matter either way.
All right, Mark.
Well, thank you very much.
We're now going to hear a song by Impetigo. This is called Trap Them and Kill Them, off Heart of the Zombies, right here on Noise Pollution WUSB, Storybrooke.